Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on, well, DCTV and the Arrowverse in general because, well, we got a couple of things to go over in regards to all the shows. So just firstly, yes, I'm still sick. My voice probably still sounds really weird, but this also should be at least the last video of 2019 of the decade, which is pretty crazy. So unless something random like that's very newsworthy and I have to make a video straight away, you know, that comes out on December 31st for me, this should be the last video. So I just want to wish everyone a happy new year as it comes to us, and also just want to thank you guys for all the support in 2019. It's been just awesome just to have you guys supporting when the shows are on, when the shows are off, or it's like a small break like we have now. I appreciate it. It's actually sort of hard to put into words in like a quick way in regards to how much I do appreciate it, so thank you very much. But yeah, this has arguably been the biggest year, or I guess season for the Arrowverse so far, with the ending of the show that started it all. That of course being Arrow, it's almost at the end, and also the introduction of the new show Batwoman, and then of course the big Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover event. All the years in the making, it finally arrived, and we will get the epic conclusion to that in just over 2 weeks from now, which could potentially open the door to even more shows or characters to be introduced into the Arrowverse over the next, couple to a few years. But in this video, we are going to be going over the next 12 months of the Arrowverse, which will see the introduction of more shows in the ever-expanding universe, as well as the ending of more than just, the possible ending of more than just one show. So we will just go over each of the shows, how they are tracking so far, and then what their future holds, and then move on to the new shows. But of course, throughout the video, be sure to let me know all of your various opinions in the comment section down below. Which show of these is your favorite? What are your thoughts about next season? Do you think any of these shows are the opposite of what I say they are, if you know what I mean, in regards to whether they're staying or going? Let me know all of them in the comment section down below. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, why not drop a like on it to show support and, I guess, excitement, maybe? Now, I'm not going to be using like actual rating numbers because they are so variable and different sites use, well, they come to different numbers, let's be honest, but I'm just basically using a list of rankings. So we'll leave that list linked in the description down below. It's not that interesting. I pretty much go over in this video, but if you want to click it, you can click it in the description. So first up, The Flash. Obviously, that's the #1 show in ratings for DCTV on the CW, as well as just the CW as a whole. Now, The Flash, obviously, it's far and beyond, like, in regards to like ratings. Like, it's got so many more people watching it than any of the other shows. Sorry, it's actually pretty crazy that there's no one there, say, between this one and who's #2. So it's sort of weird there isn't one there. Maybe one of the shows that's coming next season might fill that gap. Who knows? But the show has a 7-season contract for the main cast from season 1. So season 7 is assured. We're going to be getting season 7, and sort of like Eric Wallace has already started talking about season 7 in interviews and stuff like that. But beyond season 7, what's that like? Well, it depends. It really depends on whether Grant Gustin wants to do more or whether he wants to stick around the show past season 7. It really only matters with him. Any of the other cast could leave and the show could still go on. But if he leaves, well, there's really no hope. Like, yeah, I know Wally West could take over as the Flash like he did in the comics, but that's extremely unlikely, especially how they've done Wally on the show. Like, the way his storyline's gone, I don't think it would work randomly making Keenan Lonsdale come back and take over the mantle. I don't think it would work. If it was done differently once he was brought on the show, then maybe. But I think the way it's gone, it's extremely unlikely, or at least it's unlikely to the point where I don't think the audience would be that interested, if that makes sense. But yeah, The Flash, in regards to cancellations, don't worry about that. It's more past season 7, and then again, I don't think it'd be necessarily cancelled after season 7. It's more that it would just end because Grant Gustin would want to leave. But who knows? I'm sure contract negotiations are currently going on, so let's see what happens there. Batwoman is #2. Now, Batwoman is partnered up with HBO Max, which is the new like Warner Media or Warner Brothers streaming service, and HBO Max will be the streaming home for the show. So it's not going to be on Netflix or anything like that. So that gives it a lot of security, even though clickbait, sites and articles every week are saying that it's at risk of being cancelled, even though, as I said, it is the second highest rated DC TV show on the CW, but also just the second highest rated show in general on the CW. So season 2 is assured. How it's structured will be the big question, as season 1 does have 22 episodes, but that might be too much for Batwoman and how the show itself is structured, in my opinion. I don't know how they're going to do 22 episodes this season based off the storyline, but maybe they are testing 22 episodes in season 1, seeing how it turns out, and then maybe deciding how many episodes season 2 will have. I don't know, but yeah, Batwoman's #2, so it's going to be getting a season 2, and yeah. Supergirl is #3. Now, Supergirl, if you remember, back a couple of years, was initially on CBS. CBS. It was CBS in America, but then moved to the CW for its second season. And with that, the contracts did change because it changed networks. And from what I know, they were all up to up to season 6. But mainly that would apply to Melissa Benoist mainly. Like anyone, as it's similar to Grant. Anyone else could leave the show. It wouldn't matter too much. But if the main actor leaves, well, then it's in trouble. So Melissa Benoist, who of course plays Kara/Supergirl, season 6 is where her contract goes up to apparently. So that's the main thing to look out for. Now they are currently on season 5. They will get renewed for sure for season 6. I'd be surprised if they didn't. But after that, who knows, as they will have to renegotiate contracts, which can be difficult as well as expensive. And unlike The Flash, which leads the network in viewership, Supergirl is 3rd overall for DCTV, but tied 4th overall with Supernatural. So the return on viewership might not meet the costs needed to renew it, but who knows. Melissa Benoist is also recently married and may want to spend more time on that. But that is something that will be brought up in the next 12 months, I'm sure, as to whether we go beyond season 6 with Supergirl. Arrow is number 4 for DCTV and 6th overall for the CW. As we all know, Arrow is ending after season 8, with there only being 2 standalone episodes left following Crisis. So yeah, not much to say for Arrow, except that it will be interesting to see what the last 2 episodes are like for viewership, especially considering that episode 9 will be the backdoor pilot for one of the spin-offs coming next season. So that should give an indicator to the anticipation levels for that, but we will come back to those spin-offs later on in the video. Now, Black Lightning is number 5 for DCTV and 8th overall for the CW. Now, Black Lightning has dropped a lot this season for viewership. I think it's lost like almost 40% of what it had. I don't know if it was towards the end of last season or the beginning, one of the two. However, since season 1, it was always paired with another DC TV show, whether that be The Flash, or I think it was also Legends of Tomorrow. This is the first season where it hasn't been paired. Now, current ratings could suggest cancellation, like it arguably is really in the zone for that. But I think due to Crisis and what looks to be the proper edition of Black Lightning 2 Earth 1 and the Arrowverse in general, ratings could increase as people jump on to stay up to date with what's going on over there. So that's possible. Now, it has a Netflix deal internationally, which is also something that could or would help its cause for renewal. But Black Lightning would have to be on the maybe pile in regards to risk of cancellation. But there are some good signs for it sticking around, which have been, recently added or just been there for a couple of seasons. Now, Legends of Tomorrow has yet to start airing this season. It does start the week after Crisis ends. Now, last season's ratings weren't amazing, and apparently the people who work on the show on Legends, in Vancouver, have said that they have been told that they're able to look for other jobs around Vancouver on other shows once this season wraps up. Don't know how 100% legit that is, just something I've heard. Now, Legends is on its 5th season, so season 5 this season, and from memory it was said to always be a 4 or 5 season show. Maybe it was 3 or 4 season, but let's just say 4 or 5 season show. So they have reached that goal this season, so maybe now might be the time to wrap it up. I don't know. Brandon Routh's Ray Palmer has been written off the show partway through this season. I think he's like episode 7 or 8 is his last episode, which according to some in the know was due to him costing too much. But there has been no word on this season being its last, which is usually something you would announce for a show that has gone for a handful of seasons. So you would think it's set for renewal, but it would be hard to predict too much until the new season starts airing and we see how many people are actually watching the show. But you'd have to say that Black Lightning and Legends would be the 2 shows most at risk, while the others, outside of Arrow obviously, should all be safe for next season. Now, outside of all these shows, we actually have some new shows coming, within the next 12 months. Or at least 3 in the next 12 months. Who knows about the other one? So Superman and Lois is the new, Supergirl spin-off with Tyler Hoechlin's Superman and Bitsy Tulloch's Lois Lane. The pilot for that show films in March. They've already obviously started the casting for it. From what's being said, it seems like it's going to be a mixture of the Smallville TV show and just a proper Superman show. So the Smallville aspect will be, Superman's kid. And then the proper Superman stuff will be Superman. It'll be interesting to see how they target this show in regards to who's going to watch it, and as well as just the themes of it, because I think a full-on legitimate Superman show will be really cool, but fairly expensive at the same time. But maybe they'll given the license to use Superman in his own show. if they followed certain guidelines and stuff. So maybe it can't be a proper Superman show where, say, he's suiting up every single episode or something like that or something. Or maybe he doesn't work at the Daily Planet. I don't know, something along those lines. There might be some some guidelines I have to follow. But this show, they would definitely be aiming to be up there in regards to Flash numbers. So, you know, I was saying before that gap between 1 and 2, this Superman show might fill that gap in. So I think that's what they're aiming for, but it'll be interesting to see like what the show's like in regards to who it's targeting, the themes, and everything like that. Green Arrow and the Canaries is the Arrow spin-off, which will have the backdoor pilot in episode 9. This is a show which isn't going to have great viewership numbers off the get-go, because you have to think it's going to be the Arrow audience is going to watch it, but not everyone that watches Arrow will watch it, if that makes sense. So whatever Arrow is getting this season, you have to think that's the cap for Green Arrow and the Canaries. You know, a few episodes in, it's always going to get those first episode numbers, because random people will come and watch the show, be like, okay, I'll watch the show, see what it's like. But then you'd have to think it would go to around Arrow's numbers, if not lower. But it will be interesting to see what the show's like. Obviously, it's a completely female-led cast, so that might draw more people in. You know, certain people might be like, oh, well, I didn't like watching, you know, the male-led show of Arrow, but I'll watch a female-led show. You know, certain girls might come in, or maybe dude might want to watch that show instead of Arrow. So it might get increased viewership numbers here and there. But that's for us to wait and find out. That show, I don't think we'll be getting a pilot filmed in March, so it might just start filming in July like the other shows and start airing in October. We'll have to wait and see. Stargirl is obviously a new show coming to the CW, originally meant to be on DC Universe, but will be airing on the CW. It looks like it's going to be starting at the end of March or April. I think it's probably going to replace Black Lightning's time slot, because that show only has 16 episodes, so it will end earlier than the other shows. So I think that's where Stargirl is going to go. Apparently it's like legit going to be a CW show come season 2. I don't know how proper that, you know, information is, but that's what's being said. But that's for us to wait and find out. Whether she gets tied properly into the Arrowverse is another question. Obviously, is that even in English? Apparently she's meant to be cameoing in Crisis in part 5. So that might cement that she's in the Arrowverse, but once again, that's something that we have to wait and find out. And the last show is still a show that's not 100% confirmed in the Arrowverse, but it's just been said that it is, and then that it isn't, and then that it is again. It's sort of confusing. And that's the Green Lantern show. Obviously, that will be on HBO Max. What's being said is that those HBO Max shows are tied to the Arrowverse. There's still people that are more legitimate than the people that shot those rumors down, saying that, yeah, it looks like that's going to be the case, because they sort of want to make it one universe, whether they're on different services or channels and stuff like that. If he is in the Arrowverse, it will be interesting to see who is the Green Lantern that shows up there, whether Crisis maybe sets that up or something. But yeah, that's necessarily not going to be obviously a CW show. It's going to be an HBO Max show, but it could still be set in the Arrowverse, which is all tied to everything. But obviously, we don't know exactly when that show's starting. Obviously, HBO Max comes out 2020 in the next like 6 months or something. But we don't know when the hell that Green Lantern show is going to start airing on there. So that might not be till 2021. Who knows? But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all to go over. If you enjoyed the video, it would be awesome if you could drop a like and it shows support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on what we went over. Do you have any differing opinions on what I said in the video? If you could do that, it would be awesome. If you could let me know in the comment section down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.